Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, Sloan, Sloan's had enough, okay? Sloan's had enough, Rachel's had enough, and Sloan's like, yo, listen, you need to sit there and hurry up with this plan. It's taking too long. Rachel's starting to get antsy and stuff like that. She wants to see her parents, and I don't want to be an accessory any more than I have to, pretty much. Um, Now, on the bright side of that, they did get to sit there and dress up Eric and have him wear makeup and lipstick and stuff like that. Because she was like, yo, listen, if I got to go through all this, entertaining this child, dealing with Kristen's wrath and everything like that, if I got to go through all this, oh, I'm going to sit there and get a kick out of this. So, they had him wear eyeshadow and everything like that. And it was funny. Um, Brady wound up calling Eric, and he was like, "This is, we can't push her any further." Hell, he even actually said that I'm starting to feel kind of bad about doing this. Now, of course, when he said that, Kristen walked in. See, this is one of those TV tropes that they always do, and they do it mostly in the soap operas. They always sit there and talk about all their business, and then they just gotta hope that when the other person comes to the room, that they don't hear everything that they're saying. It's always just one of those things where it's like, oh, could you say any louder? Could you announce any louder? I mean, it is an open hallway, and a person that you don't want to know, that you don't want them to know, can just walk in at any point in time. And I get that's supposed to be part of the mystique and the suspense and everything. But there's a certain level of common sense that you're just like, all right, come on, bro. Like, really? Of course, she came in and she overheard everything. She was pissed. And so now Brady's like, all right, yeah, that's right. If you don't sit there and play a hardball, you're never going to see her again. Ever. And I sat there and I thought about this, and I'm just like, you do realize, now, here's the thing. Kristen has more money. She has more resources, okay? If she wants to sit there and find Rachel, if, this is a legal battle, Brady, you ain't winning, okay? You may have some money, but you don't have the mayor money. Okay, let's just be honest about that. And I just sit there and I was like, you gotta sit there and wonder what's more important, Rachel or this little fantasy that you got going on. So she was like, all right, fine. And she took Brady to Demara's place, to the secret tunnel, to the secret room, and everything like that. And when she opened up the little cabinet where the plant was supposed to be at, it wasn't there. Now, of course, if you already watched the preview, you know that it wasn't going to be there. Now, at this point, Brady's probably upset. He's like, what's going on? Like, you're lying. You're this, that, and the third. Here's the two outcomes for tomorrow's episode. Yeah, he's going to be mad, and at first he's going to sit there and be like, well, I don't believe you. Or you messed around. It's going to be both. And he's gonna be like, you messed around. Now somebody else took it. Now these three of them are gonna die, and it's gonna be on your hands. And I would love for her to sit down and have that conversation with Rachel about how she just let her grandmother die because she wanted to play house, and she thought it was more important to play house and be with Brady than it was to save her grandmother's life. That's the conversation I would love to hear. Now, speaking of the three ladies, and I'm going to sit there and start calling them Charlie's Angels, um, Rex comes in. And Rex, has some news as far as um, Tate and Rome is concerned. He tells them that that her levels have elevated, her liver and some other stuff or whatever. That he didn't really get into, but he was like, it could be too much eggnog, or it could just be a lot worse. But we won't know until we run the test against all three other women. So at this point, they're kind of worried. Meanwhile, you got John and you got Marlena just kind of hanging out at the hotel, playing some mattress tag and talking about Kristen. Just the good old days. Um, just a great time. So while that's going on, Kayla and Steve come back, and Rex is like, "Yeah, we gotta sit there and run these tests because if her levels are high and your levels are high, that ain't good." Long story short, Rex ran the test, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not good." And then Kayla started sneezing, Kate started sneezing, and Marlena started sneezing. So yeah, you saw the previews, you know where it's gonna go. And if you didn't see the previews, well, unfortunately, I gotta sit there and be the bearer of bad news. Now, I say the bearer of bad news in a kind of tongue in cheek way. Let's be honest, these women have been on this show for like, I don't know, decades, millennials pretty much. They ain't going nowhere, okay? Berlina, Kate, and Kayla have been on this show probably before I was born, I imagine. They ain't going nowhere. That's just the bottom line. They're not going nowhere. So whatever, yeah, they're gonna sit there. If you saw the previews, if you didn't, I'm just gonna spoil it for you anyway. And you can either stop watching it here, or you can continue watching it and be spoiled. Okay. They're gonna die. They're gonna die. They're gonna be sent to heaven, and they're probably gonna have to sit there and fill some sort of quest or something, and then eventually they'll come back down and yada yada yada. Now the only thing that I hope that's not going to happen is going to be some sort of caveat. So on One Life to Live, I don't know if you watch One Life to Live, you remember at some point, um, I think Al Holton died, and he came back in a different body. And the only way he was going to sit there and stay if he got Marcy to fall in love with him. It was a catch. Okay? And I call that catch. What's that Spider Man comic book? One More Day. It is probably the most hated comic book of Spider Man, maybe of just all times. Because when he came back, he had to forget who he was. So all the love, everything, all the history and everything like that was just gone. And that's the same thing that happened with One More Day. They was able to sit there and save, or he was able to save Aunt May's life, but at the cost of his relationship. And of course, that was for stupid reasons I'm not going to get into, but they were really dumb, like really dumb. And if you want to find out what that was, come on my live stream. I'm doing it tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Um, so I just hope whatever sort of pseudo question they're going to probably have them do, and I'm just guessing. And it doesn't revolve them just losing their memories or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that's about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened throughout this episode. Well, it was a good episode. It was a good episode, and it's just going to get better. Because now these women are going to start to feel this effect of this virus, and it's gonna be heartbreaking and everything for a lot of people. I mean, me personally, here's the thing, just to throw it out there. Um, soap operas don't really get me emotional. They really don't. It was like Brit's death yesterday. It didn't do anything for me. It really didn't do anything for me. Um, Oscar's death didn't do anything for me until towards the end when he had Lila and Edward show up to take him to heaven. That was probably the only part that was like that kind of got me. And of course Sasha's child, passing away. that got me because, it's heartbreaking to sit there, even if on a fictional level, a child, um, something like that happened to a child is always heartbreaking. And Mike was a little bit. Mike was a little bit. As much, not as much as Sasha's baby, but for the most part, this stuff doesn't really do anything towards me. So, like, knowing that these three women are gonna die isn't gonna really do anything for me. So if I seem like I'm just being like, I don't know, like rude or anything like that, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just it doesn't do anything for me. The only shows that actually like put me on an emotional level to some extent, obviously, is This Is Us and a couple of episodes of Many Little Things. Other than that, eh. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. And if I miss anything, come to the live stream tonight. We'll sit there and talk about it because I feel like there's a couple of things that I might have missed or skimmed through, but I think I kind of covered the majority of it. All right.